So what's up you guys, and welcome to my Game Week 5 Analysis and Game Week 6 Preview video. In a week where we've seen both Manchester sides show why it's looking very likely the Premier League trophy will end up somewhere in Manchester, Man City winning 6-0 and Man United winning 4-0. And after me saying that there's not been many draws so far this season in the Premier League, Game Week 5 seen a total of 5. So let's take a look at how that affected my FPL. I got a total of 56 points. That's 2 below the average. Rather annoyingly, I had Lukaku as my captain all the way up until half an hour before the deadline on Friday evening. Don't ask me what changed my mind. I'm not really sure I know myself. But that's exactly my luck at the moment. I did make 2 changes just before the deadline started, and I took out Chicharito and Pogba, and I placed in Firmino and Choupo-Moting. Obviously, Pogba is injured at the moment, and Choupo-Moting played, so I guess he got me more points than what Pogba did. And Firmino pretty much seen me change my third striker to yet again another like for like. I can't catch a break with that third striker spot whatsoever. Besides Lukaku, Richie and my defenders were the standout players for me. Other than that, Daniel's in over Sutner would have seen me got just 1 more point. But other than that, I put out my best starting 11 and I just need to get a bit luckier with my captain choice and I'll be alright. So let's take a look at my leagues. Despite being 2 below the average and not having any City coverage whatsoever, I'm still seeing mainly greens, which is a bit of a surprise. I got just some reds in 3 leagues. As you can see there, the FPL Hints League, the FPL Scotland World Cup League, and the FFM YouTube League. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I got completely itchy feet on Sunday evening and I almost ended up wildcarding. I put a tweet out on Twitter and I kind of had a team all made up of what the wildcard might look like if I activated it, and it got pretty mixed results, to be fair. There seemed to be 2 thoughts of thinking here. Game Week 6 does seem to be a bit of an optimisational time to use your wildcard this season, because it sees a turnaround of some of the fixtures for some of the bigger teams. Teams such as Arsenal, Chelsea, Everton all hit a good run of games. So quite a few people are in the thinking that if you wildcard now and you can capitalise on those players hitting a good run of games. I did read a really interesting article from the guys at Who Got the Assist on doing just that. So if you're thinking of wildcarding this week, you might want to check that out because it's quite interesting. However, people sat in the other side of the camp were telling me, your team really isn't that bad, Nim. You're panicking over nothing. So price rises and having no City coverage had me stressing over whether I should pull the trigger, but I decided not to in the end. I'm hoping I don't change my mind after I've done this video, but at the moment I've decided not to. And why? Well, here's a couple of reasons. I took that completely bat crazy -12 just a couple of weeks ago. And now after last game week, I think it's safe to say that basically I did the wrong thing. I got it wrong. I got out KDB and Salah for Pogba and Eriksen. Although Eriksen has pretty much been doing okay, about the same as KDB, obviously Pogba got injured and Salah is on fire. So that whole rotation thing, me being worried about Klopp not playing Salah, was probably a bit dumbfounded. 1 game's rest doesn't mean he's always going to get rested. And it looks as if I've learned a bit of a lesson. Though I do like to keep it interesting for you guys, so hopefully it's been quite interesting to watch. And maybe you've learned yourselves not to do it that way. But that hit has made me really nervous about using my wildcard so early on. I really would like to try and get the maximum out of the players I took the hits for. Players like Alonso and Mooman. But also it kind of comes down to a bit of a judgment thing at the moment as well. seeing as I'm not really trusting my judgment calls, that kind of feeds into my second point. Am I just knee-jerking that I've had a not terrible week, but a less than average week, for instance? As I said before, lots of people pointed out this isn't a terrible team. There are no reds, no oranges. I only have one player in long who isn't playing at all. There could still be a few more weeks in this team before it becomes necessary to wildcard. The problem I have with this team at the moment is that it pretty much hinges on Spurs and Alonso doing well. And that is still entirely possible. They are good players. Even if it does look a little bit unlikely after Spurs' last return to West Ham, where they lost 1-0 and it pretty much cost them the title. But I'm thinking there's a possibility there's another week or two in this team. And lastly, there's always that slight nervousness that when you use a wildcard, just really to get in players you'd like in your team rather than you necessarily needing them in your team, that if you wildcard too early, you could end up a few weeks down the line with a few oranges and a few reds and thinking I really should have held on to that wild card, especially after I've taken a -12 already. Hits are going to need to be kept at a minimum from now on. So if I don't plan to wild card, what are my plans? Well, first up, I've already used my full transfer. Gone a bit gun-ho again. I got Lascelles in for Sutner on Sunday evening. Lascelles was set to go up in price and he offers an attacking threat. And Sutner not doing quite so well and his price was looking to drop on Sunday evening. So is that it? Possibly not. I am considering taking a -4. For maybe one of the Spurs players I have in to a City player, or the much scarier option Kane to Aguero. City do face a more than poorly Palace side at the moment, and I'm just wondering whether to edge my bets over two teams rather than having all my eggs in one basket with a Spurs team. I'm going to have to think this one over. Let me know what you guys think. Pop your thoughts in the comments below. I will probably captain Lukaku. Unless I do take that -4 for City coverage, then I may well stick my captaincy on that player instead. So what happened elsewhere? Well, pundits beat me in the Draft.co league. He got 50 to my 39 points. I left my best players on the bench again, and as I've explained with Draft.co, the players on your bench don't go in for any players that don't play, so you have to play your optimal team, and I didn't do that last week. Next up, I'm against Chief. I'm thinking on this lineup to compete in game week 6 against him, but Chief does have a lot of really good City players, so I'm really worried about this one. It's not looking good for me. I am exactly the underdog this week, the definition of it. And that's it, you guys. You guys are all up to date. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, contribute, and do all those fabulous things. Until next time, Nymfria out.